what about countries like Germany? I was with Alice earlier. They've already got millions of migrants. She's getting a lot of backlash for talking about, I think it's called remigration, I think, whatever term she uses. So what's the solution for countries that have gone down that path for so long, unlike Hungary? Is there a way back from having all these immigrants?
I'm just simply happy that it's not my job. And what I'm fighting for, not to get the same dilemma, because it's the biggest dilemma, spiritually, morally, especially for a Christian, you know, what to deal with. And I'm so thankful to the God that it's not my political challenge. So what I'm doing to preserve the situation here, not to have that question, never, for the Hungarians.
Do you think it's possible for other nations who are indeed in this position, if we're talking about, for example, Germany and Sweden, before the next half of this century, they will have a minority of the European population. Do you think it's possible to really put a halt to mass migration and even start maybe remigration within the framework of the European Union? Do you think that reforming the European Union is possible, or do you think that the construct, which obviously very much did away with Christian values, is even possible to reform?
Okay, when we speak about demography and the impact of migration, we have to understand that they will concentrate always on the urban areas. So it does not count what is their rate on national basis, because it says nothing. The question is how they are concentrated on urban areas. And the majority in urban areas will arrive soon, sooner than we expect. If you look at the sociological facts in Vienna, which is the closest country, we see the process. How many percentage of the young guys going first time to the school belonging to the migration community or belonging to the original community, so it's obvious. So it's not a nationwide problem first, it's just a regional one. To change the European Union, I think the European Union will change its mind on migration quite soon. I have various and many impressions collecting at meetings recently in the last 6 months. Prior to the Prime Minister Summit of European Union, we regularly have a meeting of anti-migration countries. Denmark, Italy, okay, Hungary and the others, but they are the main Westerners. And they are getting more and more nervous. And they are requesting more and more radically change of the policy of Brussels on that. I try to educate them and to say, guys, this is not helpful. But they do it, they press. And some good regulations are coming out. But basically, they cannot, this move is not a game changer. The game changer is only what I say, rebellion. Rebellion. Rebel against the European regulation. Hungary is doing that. So what is the law now in the European Union is totally against what we are doing here. So I have to pay every day 1 million euro as a fine, as a punishment, because I don't follow the pro-migration policy of the Commission. So that's going on. But it's a simple rebellion. And that's my suggestion to everybody. Rebellion. Reform will not help. Even they will accept certain push coming from the prime ministers, but they will never change dramatically the structure what we need.
But you have an absolute majority. And I wonder what your opinion is on other European countries, most European countries, in fact, where the right wing is not able to get an absolute majority. Would you recommend to the leaders of those parties to form coalitions anyway and to have watered-down policies, or to say, no, we're going to stay in the opposition?
It's not possible. I was talking with FPO, what happened in Austria.
Yeah, but there are some examples, what you have just quoted, but there are some other kind of examples, like in Dutch.
In the Netherlands.
Netherlands, in Sweden. So, without mentioning any concrete countries, because I would not like to criticize anybody. But the fact is that those parties who moved into coalition with others, sooner or later has given up, or have given up their original radical position on migration. So I have rather negative experiences on that.
But do you think that the European Union as a structure which we consider in Switzerland, or some consider in Switzerland, as an intellectual misconception. It doesn't work because everybody's responsible for everybody and nobody's responsible for something specific. I mean, is the EU, how can the EU genuinely survive? Or how many years do you give the EU in its current structure to still work?